Hey, you back. Finally, you already know what it is, man. For Black History Month, breaking down just breaking down some movies, man. Good to be back. Definitely had to have some more that I got down coming down the pipe, so y'all stay tuned for that. But today we definitely gonna go through it with one of my favorites, man. This is one that's near and dear to me. It's Prison Song. Uh with an all-star cast at that. A lot of people sleep on this one. RD, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. For sure. I'm happy to be back for real. Yes, definitely. Got a lot more coming. You know, I'm doing a lot right now, so uh just be patient with me. Doing a lot right now as far as what I'm gonna be posting, trying to change up the format. You know, I already told y'all that I'm changing it up a lot, so I wanna stay on that path. And Black History Month is the best time to do it. So I just wanna capitalize on some of my favorites. For sure, for sure. What up, Detroit? What up, bro? For sure. Hey, I missed coming on, for real. I've just been busy. I've been busy a lot, RD, for real. Trying to make moves, trying to make sure the family right. Trying to make sure I'm right. That's why I had to take a break from it because mentally it's like you want to say and do the things that you want to, but YouTube they kind of iffy nowadays. They really are. Detroit in the building. Hey, I'm gonna send up the link too, bro. If you got some time, I'm gonna break it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna send up the link. So if you got some time to come through, hey, you already know what it is. You know how we get down for sure. But yeah, man, I wanted to come in here. It's Black History Month. I want to shine some light on some of the movies that don't get a lot of play. It's Black History Month, and yeah, everybody knows about Boys in the Hood, Malcolm X. You know, all the blockbusters, because that's all anybody really capitalizes on, are the blockbuster movies. When it comes down to it, hey, TVC, we break down a lot of other stuff. You know, we break down Minister Society, Fresh. I've done that with Inga. So we try to pinpoint a lot of the other movies that they would say are underground, but to us, the real people, the real ones that actually watch movies and the ones that's really down for it, we know what the real movies are. We not really, yeah, we'll watch the blockbuster movies, the black blockbuster movies, or whatever they want to call them, the ones that actually made a lot at the theater and the box office. But there's a lot that didn't make those type of numbers at the box office that are sometimes even better than the ones that were at the box office making money for real. And you know what I mean? Just my opinion, this is one of them. This is one of those that didn't get the shine that it was supposed to because it has an all-star cast. We're talking about Q-Tip. We're talking about Mary J. One of Mary J's first movies at that. We're talking about Harold. I always mess up his last name, but y'all know him from Oz, from man. There's so many different movies and shows and just things that he was in for real. Best Man. He's been around the block for real. You got Fat Joe. Moochie, what's going on? Thanks for coming through, sis. We just breaking it down right now. Just introducing the movie, man. It has so many people in here. You got Snow from Informer fame. Yes, we got Snow. Um, it's so many people in here. Yeah, exactly. Best Man, for real, bro. It's so many people in this movie that back then when it came out, they were known in the Matrix. Exactly. He got a long list of movies that he's been in, for real, and shows. But he's another actor. He's starting to get his shine now. You know what I mean? I know in the acting community he has gotten his shine, but he's really starting to get noticed by other people now, which I'm very glad for because he's a great actor. You got man, it's so many people in this movie, it's ridiculous. So yeah, we definitely gonna break it down. This one right here is as y'all can see, it's Prison Song, so it's dealing with a lot of things that we still dealing with today in the black community. So, you know, it's gotten worse. The numbers that I have here are from when this movie actually came out. These are not the numbers now. So you know those numbers are elevated drastically. What up? What's going on? We got Aries in here. For real, A. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite movies. You know, I mean, being Q-Tip, this is one of his first joints that he really ever did. And he was the main character in the movie. I'm a Q-Tip fan, so I had to watch it. And when I saw it, my mind was blown. I was blown away by just how the script was written. It wasn't cookie cutter. They delved into it. They definitely was raw with it. They didn't leave anything out. They didn't leave anything to chance. For real, for real. Yes, yes. BT classic. This is definitely a classic. It's one of those. Like I said, but people don't really give it the shine that it deserves. There's only, you know, when people that are like us that, you know, we watch movies, we watch TV shows. So it's definitely going to be on our mind when it comes to some of the best movies made by, you know, in black movies. But a lot of other people, it just hasn't been, it hasn't been brought to their eyes, and they really don't know about it. It boggles my mind just to talk to people when they haven't seen Prison Song. And I've ran across a whole bunch of people that haven't seen it, and it's crazy to me that they haven't. It's wild. It really is. Tamika the Den, what's going on? What's up with you? I'm gonna send out the link in a little bit. I want to break it down, get started first, and get into it. And I'm gonna send out the link if anybody want to come up, um, so we can definitely chop it up. But let's go ahead and get started for real. This Prison Song, you know, and it starts off. It starts off. It starts off from child. It's a childhood story. It's a coming of age story, if you want to call it that, because I mean it was cut short at the end. But we gonna get into that. But it starts off really with Elijah, which is Q-Tip, Elijah and his boy Thomas. You know what I mean? And they from the hood. They both from the hood. They came up together from birth. So they go to the same schools. They've been, you know, they tight. This they aces, you know what I mean? They run together. They've been running together for a long time. So we start to see their camaraderie and how close they are early on. And we can already tell that he's the leader of the pack, if you will, because he's smarter. So people look at him like he's smarter. So even the teacher, when they was in class, the teacher even told him, because like I said, they have no cut cards. We know that in a lot of these inner city schools, the teachers, they just there basically just to be there. A lot of them will want to teach, but they don't have the curriculum, they don't have the books, they don't have any of the tools that they need to actually teach these kids. And you can see it on this movie because the kids are going wild, they're reckless, they're not even listening to this guy. You can see water leaks coming from the ceiling. It's crazy. It's crazy how real it is. Jeremiah in the building, what's going on, bro? Thanks for coming through. But man, you can see exactly how inner city schools are. And the teacher, he's just distraught. He's like, man, why am I here? They show him in his little check that he's getting like almost $200 to be. And that's another thing for me. I always thought that, you know, teachers should be getting a lot of money. They're teaching the next generation. To be giving them table scraps is crazy. It's always been crazy to me. Once I really found out about it, because I'm sure everybody here has had a teacher that they love, you know what I mean, that really broaden their horizons. You know what I mean? I know I had a couple of them. One of my first ones that opened my eyes, you know what I mean, was in elementary school. And she taught me about a lot of different stuff that my people wasn't even telling me about. So, and then when I started really seeing her, I'm talking about she picked me up, take me places. This was like a mentor to me for real. So when I see this, it really brings to my attention the things that are going on for real. But besides that, yeah, the teacher tells him, look, you don't have to worry about what's going on in this class because he's asking questions, but nobody else is paying attention. Literally, they running around the classroom wilding, and he's the only one front and center, right in front of the class, and he's listening with both ears. And the teacher tells him, look, you're not like the rest of these kids. You know what I mean? Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody steer you wrong. You're a very smart kid, and you're not like these kids. You'll see. You know what I mean? Just pay attention. And Elijah, he really does. He really pays attention to it for real. And then we see his mother. We see Mary J. And actually Thomas's mother. You can tell that they're tight too. And she's telling her she's trying to school her to the game because Thomas's mother wants to put him in special ed just so she can have some time. And it's literally just so she can have some time after school to herself. It's not because he needs it. It's not because she thinks he needs it. It's not because of his grades. It's not because of anything else. Only because she just doesn't want to deal with him. That she would put him in special ed so that he would have to stay after school longer to do work and all this other stuff. And it's really crazy because you got to think about the mentality that puts the kid in. You putting them in special ed with a whole bunch of other kids that don't know nothing, and they might be smart, but because you putting them there, they're just stuck in that situation. So you got to think about what that's going to do to that kid's psyche for real. Really. And we find out later on, later on in the movie that his mother really don't care anything about him. And she's basically telling her, look, you need to stop doing this. They get a whole bunch of money for putting these kids in special ed. So why are you letting this go down? His mother just doesn't care. But Mary J does. So she's trying to get a job. She's trying to intern at a law office. She wants to be a lawyer. She's been doing a lot of studying, going to school, all of that. Of course, she's a single mother, and she tells him, look, she's a single mother, but she really wants the job. She knows about the legal system. She went through everything with Elijah's father because they put his father in jail for nothing, basically. So she went through all of that with them, and you can really, really tell, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It really is. How they do people in the system, and you'll see how her story ends up too. But then we see we see C, which is her boyfriend, but Elijah calls him uncle, which is another thing that's crazy that they put in there, but it's real. You get a lot of these kids that think, okay, well, this is my uncle C, this is my uncle such and such. Well, your mom is really messing with them. They really fucking for real. So at the end of the day, this ain't your uncle. This is your mom's boyfriend. But they have a good family. They really have a good family. He's trying to do his thing. He's an ex-con, so it's only so many things that he can do. But he helps out around the house. He's helping with Elijah, as you can see here. And they really have a good family unit. The mom is trying to do something. He's trying to do something. He wants to be better for them, and he really wants to be with her. So it's when you start seeing the family dynamic when they're at home, you can see that they all want something better out of life. They really do. Now, granted, in this scene, the next scene we see is that he's a photographer, which plays a part in Elijah's life later on. But he's a photographer, so he takes Elijah with him to see him, do his thing. He's just taking little pictures, welcome to New York, pictures for tourists, and he has his own pictures that he's trying to sell on the side and try to bring people in with the tourist attraction. But he's posted up in front of a camera shop, which is not the smartest thing. Which I've seen a lot of people do that. I mean, I get it. You're trying to get traffic. You're trying to get people to move towards you, but at the same time, it's really not a good idea to try to post up in front of somebody else's business. They're selling cameras, they're selling frames, that's doing all that stuff, and you're gonna put your nah. It's that's not a good look. And I've seen that even at movie theaters. People will post up across the street from the movie theater and sell their bootlegs and things like that. It's just not a good look. You bringing unwanted attention to yourself. Regardless of, yeah, you are thirsty, you trying to get this money, I get it. But there's a certain way that you go about things like this. You just don't do it. Torian in the building, what's going on, bro? Thanks for coming through, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy that you would even have to go through those drastic measures. And it's not like he doesn't, because the store owner calls the police on him. He presents his license to sell. So he has a license to do it, but not here. You know what I mean? So it's like he was trying to be slick with it, and I get it, but at the same time, it just wasn't a smart move. The owner of the camera store, the photo store that he's posted up in front of, calls the police. They show up and they give him hell because he's an ex-con. Now they do go the extra measure of knocking over his stand. They break a couple of his pictures after they find out he's an ex-con, because before they found out that he was an ex-con, they was treating him nice. But then as soon as they saw that he had charges, that he had a record, then they started treating him way different, which he reacted to. He overreacted to. If you really want to you want to keep it a buck, he overreacted to it. So after he overreacted to it, they end up locking him up, which left Elijah by himself, which is crazy to me. I don't know why usually the cops would take the kid to their mother, but sometimes you in the hood, and depending on who the cops are, if they really don't give a damn, they will leave the kid there to fend for themselves, which is crazy. Because as a police officer, you're supposed to call the next of kin. You're supposed to call the other parent, get them down there so that they can get the kid and take him home. They just left him. They put C in the car and drove off, and that was it. Which was wild. Which was really, really wild to me. Yeah, crazy story, man. But then we see how that affects them. We see how it affects the family, because his mother was really in love with C, and that was her help. That was basically, he was babysitting Elijah while she was going to class, while she was working. She worked at Popeyes during the day, but she was still taking classes. So being that she didn't have any daycare for him, she had nobody to watch him. That means that she was trying to really stay on the level. You know what I mean? Keep her head above water. But it really didn't happen. You know what I mean? And on top of that, she's an alcoholic. You can see bottles all over the house, all over her crib. She's an alcoholic. So, man, it's just a bad situation all around. It really is. Now, when you look at it, yeah, she didn't have to give up. You have a kid, and you would think that you would try to fight a little harder, but because she has an issue, I mean, you can see that she has an issue with drinking. So I'm thinking that she really wasn't paying attention to it as much when it came to that. So yeah, that's I just chalked it up to that. That was one part about the movie that I really didn't get, because I'm thinking, okay, well, if that's the case, then why wouldn't you fight harder for your child? But she just gave up and threw her books in the garbage and went on about her life like nothing ever happened. And that was kind of crazy to me. It really was. Now, let me see. Yeah, let me get something together really quick, y'all. My bad. Trying to get that out. And there we go. But yeah, man, it's sad. It really is sad that she would give up on her child like that. Not really so much gave up on him. It's just that she didn't fight. She really didn't fight to do anything, which is kind of crazy to me. I really didn't get that part. But moving on. She went did her thing, which left Elijah to the streets, which really left him to the streets. You know what I mean? And that's not some place that you really want to be. So now him and Thomas are out here and they just doing their thing. They really are. They just doing their thing. So they get caught up shining a laser. You want a little laser pins that they used to have back in the day. Still do have them, but a little laser pin. They shine them at the cops, and the cops thinking that it's a gun. They hiding behind the car, and it's really just kids being kids at the end of the day. They hiding behind the car, and they pop off. They shoot at them. They shoot at them. They take them in, and they give them the full treatment like they're already storied convicts, which is really crazy to me. That you would have a strip and all this other stuff, and this happens. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody knows or been in the juvenile system. I was in the juvenile system when I was young. You know what I mean? So I've seen it from both sides. You know, I did my little stuff. I did my little dirt and had to go to juvie. So I've seen it, and this is what they do. They treat it just like it's a regular prison, like you were grown, strip you, um, make you cough, do all that other stuff, and give you a number. Give you a number, but in juvie, you're not just as a number. You don't have to. They still give you can only say your last name, but it's really really crazy. It's really really crazy how they just the pipeline is crazy, and they showed that in the beginning of the movie too. They showed how the buses were going from the school buses. A school bus was passing a prison bus. You know what I mean? Basically, this the symbolism of showing the pipeline from school to prison, and which is still to this day because now it's even more beefed up than it was back then. Back then, they did have metal detectors and all the other stuff, but now it's kind of crazy. It really is, man. I said, which movie would you say is better, Precious or Life Song? I don't know. I really don't know, bro. They all have their own thing about them. I couldn't really say that one is better than the other. I just look at the different aspects of both. For real. That's what I really do. I don't really pay attention to the rest of the stuff. Um, I really don't. They both bring their own things to the story and to the table when it comes to it, when it comes down to it. So that's how I really look at it. But back to it. Let's see. Hold on. Top comments. Okay. But yeah, man. What was I saying before? Yeah. So they take him to his cell. They give him the full treatment, and he's just bidding as a little kid. He's just doing his little bid, and there's nothing really that he can do about it. It really isn't too much that he can do. He's just stuck at this point. So his mother comes to get him, and she's looking for him first, but she can't find him. So eventually she finds out where he is. She goes to the juvie, and they're telling her that she can't take him home. She got to go to court. Um, Family services is getting involved in all this stuff, and she flips out. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. She flips out, and I really can't blame her. It's like you shot at her kid. Number one, okay. You shot at a kid. Then on top of that, you basically telling her that she can't take her son home. So what else is she supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, this is her child. And then on top of that, the woman, the social worker or whatever, she doesn't have any kids. She asks her, do you have any kids? She says no, which is another thing that I've noticed in the family courts. It's like they hire a lot of people that don't have children when it comes that oversee children. And this is a it's all over. It doesn't matter where you go. It happens a lot. You know what I mean? The people that are like guardians ad litem and things like that, if you know about the family court system, they don't have kids. A lot of them don't have children, which is really, really crazy if you think about it. So, she snaps out. She snaps. She wants her kids. She wants to take them home. They try to subdue her or try to drag her away. So she grabs a pen and stabs one of the guards. Like, no, I want my child, which is a little overboard. But at the same time, y'all shot at her child. You know what I mean? She's distraught at this point. She's not trying to hear nothing they have to say. You shot at her baby. Y'all not trying to let her take him home. No, God knows what y'all done did and put him in the system to put him in the system. So at this point, it's really like, what's going on here? What's really going on here? What are y'all doing for real? But this is what they do. This is just another day to them. They do this all the time. Even though the cops were in the wrong for shooting at children, you know, it doesn't matter. The courts are going to side with the side of the law because number one, they're going to get money for these kids for keeping them in the system. They specialize in breaking up homes. So at the end of the day, they really don't give a damn. And it's really crazy. It really is crazy when you think about it. So this is where we are, you know. But she snaps out and goes through it, throws a fit, rightfully so. But she ends up they end up subduing her and they end up putting him right back in jail. And right there with Thomas. So Thomas is in there and he's telling them, look, my moms don't care about me, which she doesn't. We've already established that. My moms don't care about me. I'm in here, man. I'm bitten. I got to do what I got to do right now. He's talking, Thomas, if you really look at it, and if you've seen the movie, Thomas is talking like he's a grown man, for real. Because he's already done a lot of growing up at his small age. And this is, they don't even say, they just say that they're young. But this is like when they're like 10. You know what I mean? 9, 10, 11 years old. And you really think about what's going on in this, and it's crazy. It's crazy that you would even have to think like that. You feel me? It's really crazy that you would even have to think like this. But this is where these kids are. And they're basically reserved to that fact that this is what life is. You know what I mean? Not Elijah so much. He's more optimistic than Thomas is, but Thomas is just reserved. He's resigned to it. Look, this is going to be me. This is me, son. And he's, like I said, he's talking like somebody that's already done 8 to 10 years. And it's crazy. But him they let Elijah out. Thomas stays there. He gives them a picture that they took back in the day. They took a picture back in the day when they was at the beginning of the movie. They took a picture together. So he gives them that picture and says, "Hey, don't forget about me." Thomas say, "Don't forget about me." You know, they part ways, and then we see Elijah. He just they put him into the system for real. His mother, on the other hand, they show her and they show what they actually do to them. Did to his mother, which is another thing that happens on a regular basis. They take her to what they would call a crazy house. In layman's terms, they take her to the crazy house. They try to dose her up, try to give her a whole bunch of stuff. She's kicking and screaming because she does not want to take this stuff. But this is what they do, and it's sad. It really is sad, man. It's oh my god, it's crazy. They put her in the they put her in a mental institution. Courtney, yeah, thanks for coming through, Courtney, for real. So that way, that's way before Elijah goes to various group homes. Yeah, that's next where he goes. Yeah, they put her in a psych ward in a mental institution. They try to dose up with so much stuff, and now he's coming to see her You know what I mean? Once he gets out, when we gonna get to this because they put him in a group home. But she's not saying nothing. She's not responding to him. She's so dosed up on medication that she's basically just being wheeled around in a wheelchair. She's just giving up on life. What we already see, she was already halfway there when C got locked up. But this was just the thing to push her over the edge. And now she probably don't know if she's coming to go on because of all of the medications that they're giving her on a regular basis. And like I said, this is something that happens regularly. It's sad. It really is sad, man. And so we see a montage of Elijah going back and forth to different group homes. We see him go to like a good 3 or 4 different group homes. And this is another thing that happens because, hey, they don't care about the kids. A lot of these homes that they send them to, they don't care about these kids. They just want to check. Plain and simple. They want to check. You gonna get some. It's a handful. I'm not gonna say all of them, but there's a handful of them that, hey, yeah, they may actually care about the children. You know, they'll invest in the children. They'll they'll take them places. They'll educate them about life skills and things like that. But a lot of them, they'll just post up a bed, put whatever's needed in the room by the inspectors, and then that's it. They'll put a kid in there, and then it's just a rotating door of kids coming in and going, coming in and going, and that's it. As long as they get in the check, they really don't give a damn, which is wild to me. But hey, the state's giving them the money; they'll let them do it, so they're going to continue to do it. So we see here that he's in there and he goes through a lot. He goes through a lot in this place, for real, for real. But Elijah, he stays up. He does what he has to do. You know, he does exactly what he has to do, and then we see him come of age. And he's taken on what C has given him as far as being a photographer, and he's a damn good photographer at that, for real. I mean, his teachers have noticed him. He's getting awards, he's getting all kinds of stuff. But of course, because he's in the foster care system, he don't have nobody to go to. Nobody's really helping him. He's just going off of what he knows. And day after day, it's just posted in his mind of how his life has ended up here. And then we see him go from the young to the old, and then we see Q-Tip, which was a nice little montage too, man. And the soundtrack to this movie is crazy, man. I don't know why it didn't get more push. Just like the movie didn't really get more push, but the soundtrack to Prison Song it's a great soundtrack, for real. It really is. Exactly, Courtney, for real. It's it's sickening how the system does people like this and breaks up families and happy homes of people that were trying to actually do something with their life. And then they just get that little push over the edge and just everything just takes a turn to the left. And that's it. All the potential is gone. And just like his mother, just like C, all the potential was gone. And it's crazy. Yeah, he was very sensitive when it comes to certain people from the group. Yeah, he was. He was. I mean, but it's a given because he wasn't ever really taught how to interact with people, for real, for real. These are just life lessons that your parents are supposed to teach you. You're going to gain from certain individuals in life, teachers, you know what I mean, aunts, uncles, things like that. And we didn't even see one aunt, no uncles, no nothing. All he had was his mother and C. That's it. You know what I mean? And who's to say where C came from or how many boyfriends she had before then? We don't know this. This is never explained to us. For real. And it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, he goes through his thing. He definitely goes through his thing. And we see him get older and he just grows up in the foster system. That's it. There's nothing else for him. He goes to school, he goes home. He doesn't really have anybody. We don't see him with no friends. He's a loner. He's really an introvert at this point. He don't really talk to nobody. If you pay attention to the movie, he don't really speak to anyone. He's always by himself. But he definitely he's once he gets there and goes through all of that stuff. um he he gets a little bit from his teacher. Like I was saying, if you have that one teacher that really, and he's had a couple of them, because he had it when he was younger, and then we see when he gets older, his teacher tells him, look, I've entered you in a couple things, and I really would like if you would enter, sign the papers to go to the school, which he does, and he gets accepted. And throughout his little stuff, the only person that he really vibed with was one girl. It was one girl that he vibed with, and she was on the same thing, because she was playing ball. So when they met, when she went to the foster home, sorry, she didn't really want to be there, but you could tell she was in and out of the foster care system too. So they kind of vibed, and that was the only person that he talked to. But that took a while. He was already grown at that point. He really didn't have any other friends. So they vibed out, and she was the only one that was really happy for him. Well, not the only one, because he still had C, who he was visiting. But he visited the campus. They got his hopes up, and told him, look, we got you. They told him about tuition. He was going to get tuition. He only had to pay what is like a $5,000 tuition. He only had to pay $1,000, and the rest was already covered. So he's happy. He's good. His life is changing for the better. He got a girl, he got somebody to talk to, and you know, but he's still there. And this is another thing. He got Joey Crack in there. He got Fat Joe in there as one of the foster kids that's in there. And this is another thing that happens, because you got all types of different personalities there. You don't really know somebody's situation or what the other person's going through. You only know what you're going through in the foster care system, in the foster home. So we see a little bit of what Fat Joe is, his reality. And he wants to go home, but his pops don't want him to go home. He's pushing him away. He's telling him, stop showing up to the house, stop bugging your mother. He's telling him, look, I'm not bugging I just want to see my mother. That's it. But his pops keeps telling him to stay away. And then you see the foster parent, she's just going back and forth to the to the mailbox collecting checks. She's worried about a check. Every time mail comes, is that a check? Is that a check? Is that a check? She's not worried about the kids. She's telling them stay off of her porch. She's telling them don't play in front of her house. These are kids. I'm talking from youngest little kids to older. And this is what you're telling them. You're telling them basically not to be kids. Like this is a burden on you. But that's how a lot of them look at it. They look at these kids as a burden. And it's crazy. He said, he's showing, it's autistic skills, everyone in his class. Yeah, he is. He definitely did. Get the likes of yes. Thanks, Aries, for real. Hey, he said, Elijah's roommate got blocked by his own parents. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Fat Joe, that's crazy. He got put in there by his own parents because they didn't want to deal with it, which is wild. Yeah, exactly. Them kids are a check. They are just a check. That's it to them. To a lot of them, that's all it is. And it's wild. It really is, man. It's sad at the end of the day, man, because these are people. These are children that you're supposed to be nurturing, that you're supposed to be giving guidance to. And you just look at them as a dollar sign. Man, it's crazy. It really is. But we see that he's still going to go see C in jail. And he's happy for him. He's like, look, man, you doing better than what I did. And now you're doing something with it, because he learned all of this stuff from C since when he was a kid. C taking him and showing him how cameras work. And, he saw that he had an eye, so he actually nurtured that. And he turned it into a tuition. He turned it into schooling. So C is proud of him. Like, man, look, I'm in here. Your mother is over there, and you're gonna be going here. You know what I mean? So he couldn't be more proud of Elijah, which he should be, of course, man. It's just to have somebody in your corner. And now he has two people in his corner when he didn't have none. So everything is on the up and up until they pull the rug up from under him, and we see that he's with Nori. You know, and Nori is just a general drug dealer on the street looking for somebody to be a runner for him. He tells him, Elijah tells him several times, no, I'm not going to run for you. I got other things going on. I'm trying to better my life. I don't want to be caught up in nothing. But Elijah gets a call from the school and tells them, they tell him that they pulled the state in the Fed. So now he has to pay his full tuition. He has to pay the full five. He don't have a job. He doesn't have anything. He was going to get, of course, the city or whatever, they still getting checks. They got to break these kids off. He's going to do what he got to do to get the other 1,000. But he don't have $5,000. And they basically just told him all you got to do is come in with 1,000, which was going to be easy for him to do. But now they saying you got to come in with the full ride. After they done pulled him out, took him to the campus, showed him all the things that he was going to benefit from, showed him a better life, and now they just said, nope, we can't do it. We can't do it. It's like, what? Really? I said facts. That's very uncomfortable and unfortunate when it comes to children. It is. It really is, man. It's. Oh man, it's when you look at it, it really disheartens you to a lot of things. You know what I mean? That people can actually treat other people like that. But this is the society that we live in. It really is, man. It's sad. It really is. So now Elijah, he goes back to Nori and he tells, he's like, look, I mean, I need the money. Nori's reluctant because he's like, look, man, I've been trying to get you to do this for the longest time. Like, what's going on now? And you might be snitching or something like that. So eventually he gives him a pack so that he can do what he got to do. Granted, he don't want to do it, but this is what he got to do because he want to go to school. He wants to get out of this situation and make life better for himself. So, we see him doing this thing. Him and the girl, they start getting closer. And she's even telling him, like, you inspire me. But because he's never really had anybody in his life that actually looked up to him, that never really gave him any positive reinforcement, he's looking at it like, look, you know what I mean? And she's saying, you inspire me. I want to go to college. I want to, try to take try to take basketball to the next level. But in his eyes, he's looking at it as he's trying to leave him. He's like, okay, yeah, people fall. And he tells her, look, people fall in and out of my life all the time. So if you want to go do that, go do that. But she's not even telling him like that. She's just telling him, look, you inspire me. I want to make my life better too. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to go to school too. I might go to school in Cali. I might do whatever. So he's just looking at it like, okay, I'm not going too far. But, he's just basically being kind of selfish at this point. Really. It's not even kind of. He's being selfish at this point. He's like, look, you go do what you want to do, shorty. I ain't tripping over it. But, she tries to walk off, but he catches himself and they make up and talk about it. But yeah, it's touchy. Just like Courtney was saying, he's very sensitive. He's very sensitive to anything that comes along because he was never taught how to deal with his emotions. So this is what he does. He's anybody that he feels as though when he gets threatened, he just pushes people away. But with that said, she doesn't know about everything that's going on with his school because she did go to campus with him, as you saw in the pictures. She went on the tour with him. So that was why she was really getting into it, saying that she was inspired. But she doesn't know about them pulling his funding. So he doesn't tell anybody because he's closed off emotionally. And that's what happens. So they get into an argument. They on the train one day, coming back from school or going or whatever. It doesn't really explain, but they're on there. They're on the train one day. Fat Joe gets on there and They get into it. They get into a little argument. And another thing about the movie, it is a musical. I'm not really big on musicals. Me personally, I don't really like music. So for me to watch it, it was like, okay, yeah, but some musicals are okay because they're not really, like if it's just overly musical, like every 5 minutes, every 3 to 5 minutes they singing, I can't deal with that. This one was kind of it was kind of different. It was kind of different. So, the mom was singing. They were only really singing when they were in they little state. Like when she was going through the stuff about C, she started singing. Um, he started. Fat Joe started rapping when they was on the train, and he's going through his little thing, And all of them, they basically just showing their personality and what the emotions that they going through at the time. And Fat Joe, he was just rapping about his pops and the situation. He's being Fat Joe, basically. He was rapping just like Fat Joe, but he was telling, saying like, look, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. And he's basically just saying he's fed up with a lot of stuff, rightfully so, because they all in the same situation at the end of the day. But and with that said, Elijah was taking pictures of him and his dad when they were arguing. So that's in his portfolio. So they get into it and the pictures drop on the ground. Fat Joe sees it. They get into a tussle. She tries to help out. He pushes her off. And at the end of the day, Fat Joe ends up getting fried on the third rail. Elijah is trying to push him off of him, and he pushes him off of him. He falls off the platform, and he gets fried. So you already know he's going to jail. Elijah's going to jail. Period. Plain and simple. So now everything that he just went through, he already had a free ride to school. Then that got taken away from him. So he had to start selling drugs, which he didn't want to do. He's going through it with his girl. He gets into a fight, and now all of a sudden, now he's looking at 15 to life. Then they show a montage of another thing that's real, which is another reason why I love this movie. Is real. You get these jailhouse lawyers, which are basically, in a nutshell, people that have been through the system so much that it has so many charges that they know, they think they know, but a lot of them are right. They know exactly what kind of charges they're gonna try to hit him with. They know exactly what kind of deal they're gonna hit him with. And you're like, nah, and they tell him, look, you're gonna have to do that 15. Like if you don't cop to it, then you're gonna have to do it. But if you cop to it, they might give you 2 years. So we see them doing that, and then we see the real lawyer and the public defender going through the same thing. So everything that the jailhouse lawyers are saying, the public defender and the district attorney are saying the same exact thing. So the jailhouse lawyers are not too far off, actually. They're really not. He said abandonment issues. Yeah, he does have abandonment issues, serious abandonment issues. You said definitely Beat Street vibe. Yeah, on the third rail, it was definitely Beat Street vibes. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You right about that one. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of with Remo and all that. That was yeah, popped into my head instantly, for real. But they do what they run it down. The jailhouse lawyers and the district attorney and the PD, they run it down, and they're right on the same wavelength when it comes to that. He tells them, look, to take it, and that's that. You feel me? But before all this was done, yeah, I missed a couple of them. Before all this was done, we saw him go to C and tell him what was going on, because just to run it back, C actually, that's another thing that they did. Like I said, I love this movie because they kept it a buck about everything. C knew what was going on the streets, just like a lot of people that are in jail. They know exactly what's going on the streets. A lot of the times the people in jail know before the people on the streets do. Which is crazy. It's really crazy how that works. But he's telling them, look, what you doing with Nori? You know what I mean? He called his name was like Ski. But he's like, "What you doing with him?" He tells him what's going on. He's like, "Man, I don't want to do it, but I got to do what I got to do." And he tells him, "Look, don't get mad about the situation, because when you get mad, when a black man gets mad, they end up in there." Now, he did get mad about the situation, which is why he ended up getting in an argument with Fat Joe, and why he did exactly what C told him not to do. So he ended up going to jail. He copped the plea. He copped to the plea, but they still ended up giving him 15 to life. So he didn't get the 2 years. They gave him 15 to life. They gave him the full ride, and that hit him. That hit him like a ton of bricks. So he don't know nothing about the jail system as far as being an adult. He knows that he was in juvie, but he only did a short stint in juvie, and then he went straight to the foster home. So now he don't know what's going on. He's looking at his lawyer like, "Man, I thought you said I was only going to get 2 years." No, you didn't get 2 years. That's what happens when you get a public pretender. They give you a public defender because they're taking it pro bono. They're not taking your life seriously. They going home after what happens. They don't care about you. They don't care about the time that you're getting. Or a lot of the times, the public defender is on the same side as the state, the district attorney, because they're trying to get in with the district attorney. They're trying to get up to that level, but they're public defender, so they just basically like fresh out of law school. They don't know what's going on. They really don't. Went to community college and all that other stuff, so they're really trying to work their way up. So if they can get a little leeway by basically feeding the district attorney wins, then that's what they're going to do, and that's what a lot of them do, and it's crazy. So he gets in jail, and we see Thomas grown up. Thomas is still in jail. Granted, Thomas is still there. He ain't never left. He been there since he was a kid. Okay, Thomas ain't seen the street since he was a kid. And this is sad. This is really sad, man, because this happens all the time. Kids go to jail and then don't never see the street again. There's a lot of them that do. They might see the street once or twice, but because they never learned how to operate in society, they don't know how to deal with people, how to talk to people on a regular basis outside. They are just institutionalized, period. Mentally, they are just institutionalized. They done. What up? What up, PG? I hope you feeling better, sis. For real. Get plenty of fluids. Man, oh my God. I ain't had the flu in a while, and I hope I don't get it because man, yeah, it's hell. It really is hell. I'm really praying for you. I'm gunning for you, sis, for real. Hopefully you get better soon, because yeah, that is no place to be. I hate being sick. I really do. And said, especially in the various militaries, they'll never see the streets ever again. Yeah, yeah. They just don't. They don't see the city. They don't see the streets again. They might get out once or twice, but then a lot of the times they going right back in because they just don't know how to adapt. So they just end up where they are, and that's what it is. Nobody really cares about them, like we already established. So when they come home, they really ain't got nobody to go home to. So it's like, what are they supposed to do? I just don't get it. What are they supposed to do? It's crazy to me. It's like, man, like what what are they to do? Really? What are they to do? It don't make no sense. You expect a little kid, well, and a lot of the times they still have the mentality of a kid because they never grew up. They were never taught all the lessons that they were supposed to be taught by their parents or people that were raising them. The system raised them, and they only raised them to be a number, to be a statistic. It's wild. It's wild, man. It's wow, wow. And a lot of people just don't know. They don't understand. They think that, oh nah, these kids deserve that. They did what they did, and that's what it is. No, nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You're not. Nobody deserves to be treated like a number, like they don't exist, like they don't. Nobody, like nobody cares about them, especially when they're a child. Then they say, "Oh, they just animals," and we already know how they feel about about black people when getting locked up. It is what it is to them. They really don't care. A lot of them really don't care at the end of the day. It just is what it is. Like, okay, well, if your mother didn't care, why should I care? Or whatever the case may be, which is sad. It really is sad, man. But we see Thomas in there, and he sees him. He sees, he sees him in there. He like, E, is that true? And granted, E has been sending Thomas pictures this whole time. He's the only one that's really been holding Thomas down from the outside. He don't go to see him, but he sends him letters, he sends him pictures, he does all of that stuff, and he looks out for him while he was outside. So Thomas is like, man, you in here? What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be outside. You're the only one that actually gives me a that gives me a link to the outside life. So now you in here. So what I'm gonna do? And at the time when he walks in, it's a fight going on. So Thomas is like, "Yo, what's what's up, E?" But he ain't seen him in so long. He like, man, he's like, you why you acting like you don't know me? And in a lot of ways, he really don't know him. And he gets sprayed. They spray him with mace, and he's so yo. Thomas is so in his bag. What I mean? He's so institutionalized. He wipes it off like nothing. He ain't even get maced. He just wipes it off his cheek and keeps talking like nothing happened. It's crazy. It really is crazy. I'm like, man, yo, this is this is wild. This is really wild. But yeah, so he takes he's like, okay, E, I got you. I'm gonna hold you down. I'm gonna let you know what's going on. I'm gonna show you how things run in here. You know what I mean? So he tells him, look, I got you. You can go. He tells him you can go to the library. Tells him where to go, what to do, stuff like that. While he's in there, so he don't go crazy, basically, because we already know this is not the place for people to be. It really isn't. This is not somewhere that somebody really wants to be at the end of the day. It's like, come on, man. Really? Nobody wants that for their life. Nobody. And I don't care who you are. Nobody really wants that for their life, man. This is crazy. This is madness at the end of the day. So he tells him, look, hey, you can go to the law library, you can learn about your case, you can go to the gym, you can go get some rec time and all that stuff. He tells him everything he needs to do. And you know, he, and he basically tries to get acclimated to the system. So he tells him, look, you can't send no. He's like, I just want to send a letter to my father, because that's what C is in his eyes. That's his pops, because I guess he don't really know his pops. Not like I said, a lot of this stuff was never explained at the end of the day. So it's like, okay, I just want to send a letter to my pops, but he tells him, look, you can't send letters from jail to jail, so you got to get somebody to do that for you. So he sends it to Shorty, and she sends. He goes through her to send it to his pops. But then he just starts doing what he got to do. He starts doing his push-ups. He gets into his routine, and that's what he is. He's like, okay, I'm here. This is what I got to do. He's not really talking to nobody except for Thomas. He's on the same thing because, like we said, he doesn't know how to really talk to people. He doesn't know how to socialize. And so, Thomas is in there being Thomas, like he was when he was a kid. And he knows that E doesn't have anything. If anybody knows about people locked up, you got to have commissary. You got to pay for everything yourself, especially if you don't have nobody there to send you anything. If you don't have nobody to put money on your books, you basically stuck. You by yourself. You on your own. So it is basically what it is at that point. you ain't you can't do nothing about it, bro. You just stuck. Literally, you are stuck. Okay. So if you ain't got nobody on the outside, you ain't gonna have no food, no real food. You're only gonna have jail food. You're not gonna have stamps or anything of luxury. What they would consider luxury, which are really just basic things that an average person on the outside would have. So things like toilet paper, you gotta pay for all of that. So Thomas steals some toilet paper from Hassan, which is another actor that was in here. You know, Hassan from The Wire, Weebay, if you want to say, you know what I mean? We all know him as Weebay. So that's what we're gonna call him from now on. So everybody knows who we talking about from here, from this point on. So Weebay, he tells Weebay, you know, well, he steals some toilet paper from Weebay's his cell. And he takes, he sends it, he throws it over to E. It tells him, look, this will hold you down until you can get somebody to send you something. And you know, he goes in there, so they beefing. Now they beefing. You know, he's laughing and giggling about it because, like I said, he's institutionalized. It ain't nothing to him. So he sends it to him. His uh uh E Selly, Elijah Selly, he tells him, look, I'll buy one of them rolls of toilet paper off you for 2 stamps. And he don't even know. He like, man, what you mean you'll buy it off of me? He's like, he don't even he has no idea of how prison is run, you know what I mean, how the bartering system works, none of that. So he sells him the stamps and he got to sit in there while he's taking a shit. And you see him in there, he covering his nose and all that stuff. That's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you in prison. You got to sell it. You got to sit in there while they take a shit. It is what it is. There's really no getting around it. So hey, you got to do what you got to do, buddy. You feel me? It is, yo. But the next day after they do this, Weebay comes after him, and he comes after Thomas, and he buck 50s him right across his yo, gives him a Joker smile for real. I mean, slits him wide open for it's crazy from ear to ear. He's down 2 weeks ago. Haley Kilgore. Oh yeah, I know. Hey, I know that was nice. And she can sing too. Like I said, I'm not really in the musicals. I've been to plays before. Don't get it twisted. I've been to a play or two in my day. Um, but I mean, the ones that I went to, they were okay. It's just not my. It's really not my cup of tea for real. You know, it got to be a real good one. Some, you know what I mean, with people engrossed. But I would think that Haley Kilgore would definitely be able to carry that though, for real, because she's phenomenal. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out and see what's going on with that. So various correctional facilities. That's very much uncomfortable and inappropriate to live. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. It's crazy, but people go through it all the time, every day. You know, but he buck 50s him across his cheek from ear to ear. So then we see that Weebay, they take him to PC. He goes to PC. They patch him up. They take him to PC, and he's just in there. He's in there bidding, and that's what it is. But Thomas goes on about his business like nothing ever happened because that's just a normal day. That's a normal Tuesday to him. That ain't nothing. And just remember, like when he came into the unit, they was fighting. You know what I mean? And then they later down, it wasn't a full out riot. The correctional officer was just trying to get a hold of the situation. But you know what I mean, that's why they start pepper spraying and all that stuff. But they a little overzealous with theirs too. We're gonna get to that in a minute. So then we see Stone, which is one of the guards, played by Snow. Yes, Snow from Informer is playing one of the guards, and he's coming back from basically he was put out, or he had to take time off because he was attacked by one of the prisoners already. So the warden or whatever is telling him, look, the only reason why you got attacked is because you're not treating these prisoners like they prisoners. Which, granted, some prisoners, yes, they are violent and they really don't care, regardless of what's going on. They really don't care. So you have to you can't have kid gloves with them. But we find out that this is not really a state-run prison. This is a private prison, a private institution run by a corporation. So they make their own rules. They do whatever they want to. They don't care about what's going on. Um, it is what it is when it comes to them. You get what you get. So he's learned his lesson and he's holding Elijah up. Like, look, you know what I mean? I don't trust you. And he goes from being one of the nice guards to being one of the asshole guards quick, just because he wants to keep his job. Then we find out that Fat Joe's his dad comes in and he basically wants Elijah to say that something happened on the platform because he wants to get paid by Metro. So basically, he tells him, look, if you wash my hand, I'll wash yours. I'll put some money on your books. If you say that something was on a platform, we can get paid. He's just trying to get paid off the situation. Like we said, he doesn't care anything about his child. He don't care that he really got killed. He's mad because now he has to pay for funeral arrangements and all this other stuff. So basically, he's trying to get some money out of the deal so that he don't have to look at it. He don't have to pay for anything, and he gets some money on top of it when he really never took care of him. So, you know what I mean? He's like, look, you never took care of Pete, what was Fat Joe's name in the movie. You never took care of him. The group home took care of him. So why are you coming to me saying that you want me to help you? Are you going to help me? And Pete's dad is telling him, nah, I don't know what I can do for you except for put money on your books if they give me some money. So he's like, man, nah, I'm not helping you. You didn't care about him, so nah. It is what it is. So he tells him, nah, I'm not doing that. Take me back to my cell. So he's pissed off. And now he comes to the realization that, look, I don't think I can do this. I can't bid, man. I can't do this. This is not for me. So he just loses it, basically. But Thomas tells him, look, you can't be like that. You got to do this for 15 years. Well, you got to do at least 12 years of your 15. So you're in here. You ain't got no choice, man. Okay, it is what it is. And if you can't do it, you just gonna lose your mind. And they're gonna put you in a psych ward like your mom's, basically. So you're gonna have to do something. And he comes to the conclusion like, okay, well, let me start doing other stuff. So he starts working out, he starts going to class, and then we see that he's with Bobito from Stretch and Bobito. And if you don't know, if anybody knows about hip hop, they know what Stretch and Bobito show was. And it's wild, but he's in there because he was an activist. The cops didn't like him, so his dad was. He tells the story of his dad was in the crack house. He went to go see him, and at the time that he went to the crack house, he got raided. So the cops that was there saw him from the protest, and they couldn't wait to lock him up. So that's why he's in there, which is wild, which is wild to me. But hey, this tells just like Elijah's story. This tells you things, dude. Shit just happens. People that get in there don't need to be in there, and they're just in there for years and years for whatever reason. And that was him. So he goes to class, he starts drawing, he starts, you know what I mean? And just like another teacher, the teacher that's in there tells him, look, you know what I mean? If you've already taken you was about to go to college, so you really don't need this GED type stuff. I'm gonna order you some stuff, some paints and things like that, some brushes, so that you can have your outlet. So the teacher looks out for him, which is great for real. But he tells him like, look, if you can't, if you like, you're gonna have to get a job though, because I can help you with some of this stuff, but a lot of the stuff you're gonna have to pay for. So you're gonna have to get a job. So he gets a job. Luckily for them, the prison corporation has a contract for them, and they get some of the prisoners together so that they can put them on a bus and then take them out so that they can demolish. They demolishing buildings basically. But while they demolishing the buildings, the guard Snow, he sees that okay, something ain't right. Because he used to be a contractor. He used to work in construction. That's why they put him on the detail. And he sees that look, nah, something ain't right, and it's asbestos. They knocking down a building that has a lot of asbestos in it. So like, okay, well, damn. Yeah, we got to get up out of here. He gathers up all the prisoners, tells them to get back on the bus. Screams at the foreman or whatever, and tells them, look, this is the only reason why y'all hired us, because y'all couldn't get a real crew to come in here and do it, which is true. And basically they work for a corporation, so they slaves. They don't even get the rights that a state prison gets. They get whatever the corporation tells them. So if they want to send them there to their death, then they can. That's just what it is. It's crazy. It really is crazy. But they get back on the bus the next day. Stone or Snow, whatever you want to call him, Stone he goes to the warden, and the warden tells him, I didn't tell y'all. I didn't tell you to put those people back on the bus. You know what I mean? This is a contract. We have a contract with them, so we have to get the job done. He tells them, look, it's asbestos, and he basically tells them, I don't care. You don't make the decisions, I do. So I want them back on the bus, and that's it. So some of them, they get back on the bus because they want the money. They getting paid for it. They get more money so they can put it on their books. The other people, they like, nah, we not getting on it. So you got half of them that do, half of them that don't. And Elijah is one of the people that does. So he gets back on the bus, and because he needs his supplies. That's the only way he's going to really be able to have some semblance of mental capacity. That's the only way he's going to be able to keep himself straight. So he gets back on the bus and he does what he has to do. And then they find out that the school is getting shut down. So the teacher allows him to take all the pictures that he did and show all the prisoners they pictures, they portraits and all this stuff, and they see that he's been drawing all kinds of stuff. He's been drawing pictures of everybody that was in the class, everybody that was on the bus, pictures of them in there doing work. He's showing all his artistic prowess. So and the pictures are fire. The pictures are really fire for real. But they shut down the program, and after they shut down the schooling program, which was one of his biggest outlets, he just loses it. So he sets fire to the house or the building that they was actually working on, and they send him to the hole. And after sending him to the hole, a lot of the prisoners that was rocking with him, they have an uprising. Then there's a full blown riot. They shut down everything. They don't give the prisoners. They have no rights. Really, the prisoners have no real rights, because it's a prison corporation. It's not a state-run prison, as I said. So they can do whatever they want to. They don't have to send their letters out. They don't have to do nothing. And that's basically what they do. They put them on 24-hour lockdown. They cut off the water. They don't send out any letters, the plumbing, nothing. Everything is backed up. So it's shit all over it's crazy. It's crazy. They basically living like animals for real, which they already were because they're in prison. But now it's really crazy because you can't go to the bathroom, you can't flush the toilet. They maced them. They can't wash none of the mace out of their eyes. Nothing. It's hell in there. It really is. And Elijah, he's in the hole. He gets like an hour a day just to see the sunlight because he can't really go outside. So they put him in the hole. And the hole is basically what it is, a hole. You have a little bit of sunlight at the top, but there's walls all around you. So it's not like you can touch grass. You can't do none of that stuff. So he's losing his mind. Once he finally gets out, though, he can't wait. He's like, I want to go to the gym. I just want to go, go work out. I want to get some fresh air. I want, and they get fresh air now because now by the time he's out, the riot's over. They let him do everything. But by the time he gets back, they took away the gym. They had already took away the schooling. That's why he snapped out in the first place. They take away the gym, and now he can't do nothing. Nothing. Well, yeah, this when he was pretending to take pics. Yep, the click. Yeah, the click. Yo, it's like I said, I'm not really I don't like musicals like that, but he had his part. I think Q-Tip had Click, and then he had another one when he was in the hole. That was his musical, his song. He had his song. Fat Joe did a song. Mary J. Blige did a song, of course. Um, but yeah, that was there. The click click. That was fire. I like that part. I really did because it was actually showing him and who he is. Like, okay, because we know him from being a person that's into pictures and things like that. So that was his outlet since he couldn't have his real outlet, which was fire to me. I really did like that. But he breaks down. He really, really breaks down. Like he's like, okay, I can't do this no more. I can't do it no more. This is crazy. this is this is nuts. I can't do it. Yeah, and he just has a full blown nervous breakdown. And Thomas takes him to the cell and he's like, man, look, what I mean, hey, you can't do this, man. You can't. You got to keep it together. You got to keep it together, man. Because if you break down in here, I don't know what to tell you. He doesn't know. He really doesn't know how to comfort him or nothing like that. So Thomas, Thomas, he tries to start kissing on him and stuff. I'm like, man, yo. But Thomas, he explains, and he is like, nah, man, get the hell off of me. He was like, yo, anybody would do. Like, what the hell are you doing? Get the hell off me, man. What you doing? Yo, you supposed to be our friend. You over here trying to kiss on me and all this stuff. He tells him, look, man, you're gonna have to get through it because this is what it is. This is how we get down in here. Like, man, and he tells him, like, look, I don't know what you is like. I ain't never been on the outside, man. I ain't never have. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, you right. He completely violated. Thomas violated to the highest. Like he really tried to test him, and yeah, he was not having. He like, man, get the fuck off. You don't get off me. And Thomas is telling me like, man, look. What you expect, man? I ain't never been with a woman. I ain't never did none of this. You know what I mean? All I know is men. It's like, yo, whoa. This is it's a lot going on. It's a lot to unpack when it comes to this scene. I was man, I had to take a few steps back after seeing this scene because I like, man, yo, hold up. You doing a lot, bro. You doing a whole lot, bro. It was yeah, man. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. I couldn't yeah, yeah, bro. Thomas, as Aries said, you violated. You violated tremendously, bro. And hey, Thomas is just like, hey, I don't know what else to tell you, man. This is all I know, man. This is all I know. It is getting ran through or running through a nigga and pause, big pause, because like, man, hey, this scene was crazy, okay? Crazy to the highest. I'm like, man, bro, what is wow. Wow. Yeah. But he tells me like, man, look, I can't do this. And this the part that Aries was talking about, the click click part. That's what happened after this. And he was talking about click click. And he said, and Elijah didn't like it at all because Thomas is getting too strong for him. Yeah. I mean, he didn't like it because it was just he don't rock like that. You know what I mean? Logically, he don't rock like that. He don't get down like that. So he's like, nah, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit, bro. You say what you want to. I really don't care. But hey, yeah, you do what you do, bro. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. So yeah, you gonna have to go on about your business right now. But he was still cool with him afterwards. But he had to tell him like, nah. And on that note, that's when he, after the click click, that's when he called his girl up because he hadn't talked to her in a long time. Because he was like, he called on the phone, was telling her, look, I didn't know what to say to you, so I couldn't tell you what was going on because I just like her. I mean, just like anybody, like we've been saying this whole time, he does not know how to talk to people. He doesn't know. He has no idea. He don't know how to get his emotions out. He don't know how to talk to nobody. It is what it is. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy to him. For real. And it's wild to me that people would, they go through their whole life not knowing anybody and not knowing how to do it. I wouldn't know, me personally, I really wouldn't know how to think about that, or how to feel about it. I really wouldn't know at all. So to me, it's a foreign. I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, I don't, because like you got to talk to people. At the end of the day, I'm an introvert to a certain extent, but you got to talk to people. We need people to live, so you have to talk to people. But he does his click click. He calls her, and she comes out, and she gives him a little bit of, he can't really do too much, so she lets him do a little bit of under the shirt action, and so it is what it is. After that, he fills up a little bit in the visitor room. She lets him do that. So, he goes from Thomas trying to do stuff to calling Shorty. I guess he like, yeah, after that, I get it. After that, he gotta call a Shorty. He like, man, I need to see a woman. I need to touch a woman. I need to do something because this is crazy. So, that happens, and then after this point, he's like, man, look, I can't do this no more. So this is when he starts to plan the prison break. Okay, he plans the prison break. He goes. He tells the warden he wants to go to PC. So when he goes to PC is basically protective custody. It's a little more relaxed than general population. So when he goes to PC, then he starts to see all the inner workings of how they operate. He can see the switchboard. He can see how to open doors. He can see all of this stuff, and that's when he starts formulating his plan to get up out of there. Now, when he's in PC, he also sees that the dude Weebay is in there. Like I said, we call him Weebay because that's what we really know him from. So he sees that Weebay is in there, and Weebay is the electrician. He's the electrician of the whole unit. So anything that needs to be fixed, lights, things like that, he has a lot more access than everybody else does, so he can get around. So he involves him in the plot, and then they both end up going right back to general population because they trying to get up out of there. So he like, okay, we gonna go back to general pop, but Thomas, he's not feeling it because we gotta remember Thomas is the one that put him in PC when he buck 50 him and got him looking like the Joker. So Thomas is not feeling this plan at all. He's like, nah, I'm not with it, okay? It is what you this is your plan. You ain't asked me about none of this. I just tried to off this dude, and you gonna bring him right back in the gym pop so we can all be buddy buddy and sing kumbaya and get up out of here. No, I'm not with it because he already looking at him sideways. But they start formulating a plan. They put it all together. He's using a deck of cards to show everybody else which buttons or what they need to push and all that stuff. So everybody is on the same accord. They are all on the same wavelength when it comes to it, which is smart because in prison, that's the only way that you can actually congregate is by playing games. You can play card games. You can play chess, things like that. But that's the only way that you can congregate. You can't be in the same, like even in this one scene when they were all in the cell, the guard came in there because you can't have more than a couple people in a cell. You can have maybe two or I think it's like three or four or something like that. But if you have more than that, then you got to clear the cell out because then they think that you plotting or doing something, which they was anyway. Or you could be trying to plan a fight or plan a riot or something like that. So they came in there, cleared it out, but they got everything together. And then it came the day that they were supposed to do the actual prison break. So everything went off without a hitch. You know, Weebay, he did his part. He's looking out. They they get a ladder to break the bulletproof glass that the guards are behind, and they get into the control room. They open the doors. They already have a ride waiting outside for them. They got everything set. But just like Thomas said, yeah, the dude Weebay, he was not having it. He was like, "Nah, I'm gonna get you," because he only had 2 years left, so he wasn't planning on leaving at all. He just wanted to get them to a point where they could trust him, so that he could turn on Thomas and get him up out the paint. So he, as soon as Thomas tried to leave out, he started shanking him real crazy, and let him bleed out. So that's what happened with Thomas. And then when Elijah seen this, he went back to go get Thomas. So, he tried to get him up out of there because he didn't want to leave him. He knew Thomas ain't never have nobody. He was the only person that really looked out for him while he was in there, regardless of his sus ways or what he did. He's like, look, Thomas is coming with us. So once he started him getting shanked up, he went crazy. He went right back in there to try to get Thomas, which was his downfall, because he went back to get Thomas, but it was too late for Thomas. He was shanked up crazy. He was leaking all over the place. So it was a wrap for him. But Thomas was grateful that he came back for him. He was definitely grateful that he came back for him. It didn't really help the matter at any, but when he went to go help him, you know, Snow or Stone, his name was Stone. He grabbed him up and he wouldn't let him go. So now he's running and running to get out, but Snow he's not letting go. He's like, yo, don't leave me, don't leave me. But by the time they was already in the car, by the time all this stuff happened, the guards had already got everything under wraps and they started shutting it down. So he was basically just stuck. He was stuck. He went back to help his boy, and that was his downfall. And when he went back to go help Thomas, it's commendable that you want to help your boy, but it's a prison break at the end of the day. So you only got a matter of time before y'all can do it. So they ended up leaving him, and when they left him, the guards pulled up, the other guards pulled up, and they laid him out. They shot him. You know what I mean? And he let Stone go, which I don't know why he let Stone go. That was your only hostage. And then as soon as he let him go and stood up, they aired him out. So that was the end of Thomas. That's the end of the story for him as far as living wise. But one of the other prisoners whose mom had a art gallery, he called her up and they ended up posting all his art at a showing. Um, and that's how a lot of people bought his art. And they didn't show the figure, the number, whatever, but that's how he was remembered. He was remembered as an artist that died in prison, and they did a showing for all his artwork. Now, who that's going to go to, the proceeds, I don't know who that's going to go to, because he ain't have a child. His mother is in an institution, if she hasn't passed away at that point, and C is not even his real father. So I don't know who's really going to contribute. I mean, who's going to benefit from that? So at the end of the day, it's just a sad state of events that happen, man. It really is. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite movies because it's real, but at the same time, man, it's a sad story. It really is, because this guy had all the potential in the world, even with his circumstances and what he went through. It's it's just sad that he had to die in prison for, it's sad that he even had to go to jail in the first place, and which started everything down the rabbit hole, because him and Thomas was being kids and playing with the laser and shining it at the cops, and then that's what started everything. It was just, yeah, it's, man, it's a sad state of events, man. It really is. Like, this dude, he had a tuition with everything that he was going through. He got a tuition, and even with that, he still went to ski. He didn't get locked up because he was because he was being a drug runner. He got locked up because he was defending himself. Fat Joe jumped on him, or the guy Pete, but Fat Joe jumped on him, and he was defending himself at the end of the day. And he went to jail for 15 years because he was defending himself. You know what I mean? While he was already stirring, and in his mind, he was stirring about this whole tuition thing that he had to come up with the bread for. And everything just went left for him, man. Everything. And even with the girl coming there, because when she came to see him, he told her, like, look, when I get out of here, I want to marry you. So it's like, man, yo, and she was willing to wait. That's the crazy thing about it. She was willing to wait for this guy. She really was willing to wait for him. But at the end of the day, you know, he really couldn't, he just couldn't do it no more. He couldn't take it anymore. So he decided, look, I'm gonna break out of prison. And who knows what would have happened if he would have actually succeeded and got out. But I mean, you would have been on the run. So it's not really like you could have really did a lot with that. But man, it's just a sad story. It's just like Menace to Society is another one that is one of my favorite movies because it's real. I don't like the cookie cutter, you know what I mean? The whole cookie cutter of everybody has a happy ending. And Boys in the Hood didn't really have it had a happy ending for Trey. So it's like, okay, he learned from the lessons of Ricky and Doughboy, but he still went off to college. Whereas, yeah, it's realistic in a way because there are people that do. They friends did pass away. Don't get it twisted. They friends got shot up and they ended up going to school. Cool, and it happens all the time. But there's more often times where the ending is what happened in Prison Song and what happened in Menace to Society, where the the main character they don't even live to see they ride off into the sunset. They really don't, because something else happens. Life happens, you know, and that's what happens majority of the time. I would say 6 to 7 times out of 10, it's gonna end up like Prison Song or Menace to Society. It's not gonna end up like Boys in the Hood. It's not gonna end up like any of them other ones that tell you, okay, well, yeah, they rough and tumble. They no, it's not gonna end up like that. It's we being realistic. This is what happens. You know what I mean? That's why I love Prison Song. It's one of my tops. I ain't gonna say like top 5, top 10 in my movies as far as like great black cast, great acting. It's definitely in the top 10 for Black History Month for me. You know what I mean? Just not even just for the month, just period. Just because I love realism. I'm not really too much when it comes to movies. Yeah, everything in movies, yeah, we do it because we want to get away. You know what I mean? It's an escape from reality. But when you do a movie like this that's so steeped in reality, you have to take it the full way through. So that's why I commend them for this one, man. It's just one of those movies that's always going to be at the top when it comes to being realistic. Queen in the building. What's going on, Queen? Yeah, you said these types of prison are part of. Plus, yeah, hey, yeah, you're right. You definitely right, Courtney. I ain't gonna hold you on that one. Say, oh yes, I can't wait to see Raising Kanan brand new season end of the month, especially seeing Kanan with his own as his own boss and Juka's independent music solo artist. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I definitely can't wait. I want to see. Yeah, I mean, Raising Kanan never fails for me. There's some people that say, "Oh, this season wasn't that great" or whatever. Every season, it's never missed for me when it comes to Raising Kanan. So yeah, yeah, I can't wait to see that. But like I said, Prison Song, man, I had to break it down. I haven't seen a lot of people that actually broken down Prison Song, but it's one of them gems when it comes to black cinema that people really need to pay attention to, because it was just how it was made, the acting, the story, whoever wrote it, you know what I mean? The writing was crazy crazy good because it just hit on all cylinders. It wasn't really anything that they missed on as far as the realism in the story. It wasn't a whole bunch of war. They didn't water anything down from what his mother went through, what C went through. As far as the foster care system, they had that right on point. And yeah, man. It's Prison Song. If I gotta rate it 1 out of 10, I'm definitely gonna give it. It's gonna get an 8. It's gonna get an 8 out of 10 for me. Believe it. Yeah, for real. So if people haven't seen it, you know what I mean, definitely go check it out because you will not be disappointed when it comes to Prison Song. But definitely, man, I want to thank everybody for coming through. Dan been here for an hour and a half. Wow, I think that's longer than the movie. That's about the same time we could have watched the movie. But yo, you know how I am when I get into it, man. My bad. I didn't expect it to be this long. It's my first one back though, so you know I got to get my bearings. The next one that we're gonna do is yeah, definitely 2000s. Well, thanks y'all for coming through. Thank you, Courtney, for real. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Detroit. Thank you, Aries. Thanks to Moochie, Tamika's Den, PG. Man, everybody. I want to thank everybody that came through for coming through. RD, DeMarcus, Torian. I think Torian's live right now for real. I'm about to hop on over there and see what's going on with him, what he's talking about. But I want to thank y'all for coming through and tune in tomorrow. I'm gonna do a Strapped tomorrow. I'm gonna send out some of the links tonight so we can have some more people up here. I know it's kind of short notice because I didn't even know I was gonna do it until earlier this week. But I'm gonna send out the links. Hopefully, I can get some of my TVC partners to come up here and break down Strapped with me, which is another one I think that people sleep on. That's Forrest Whitaker's directorial debut, talking about guns and gun violence in the inner city, which is elevated since then, way higher than what it was back then. So I hope y'all tune in tomorrow. With that said, y'all already know what it is.